going on, guys? It's K-Dub here with another episode of Crypto Zombie. Shout out to everyone that's been liking, subscribing, and commenting. You guys rock. Also, today is Sunday. Hope you are enjoying your weekend so far. If we dive in and have a look at what's going on, we're seeing some red across the board. Now, Bitcoin actually fell this morning, instantly got sucked right back up. We'll talk about that. But what I want to get into is the fact that Bitcoin dominance has actually increased by 0.4% overnight. That's a pretty incredible jump overnight. We haven't really seen it move that much. So what's happening, as a result of this? Well, with the exception of some cryptos that are doing well today, for the most part, your altcoins are probably getting hit a lot harder than Bitcoin today. So your Bitcoin comparative might be a little bit lower today on your portfolio than usual. But as we've established, guys, these things, it's like a seesaw. It goes back and forth, right? So looking at the situation, we have almost $119 billion market cap, Bitcoin at 3,586, XRP 31 cents, and Ethereum has fallen down to $114. Now, looking at the biggest gainers of the day, we have Holochain up another 14%. Tron, Binance, obviously big news for both of these guys. We'll get into that. Aurora, Arc, Buguracoin, Insight, Waves, Stasis, and Zilliqa. Also, another coin that was up today was Beam, 48%. Now, as you can see right here, CoinMarketCap has not established the market cap yet, which is why you're not seeing this on the front pages, but it is doing quite well, to say the least. Now, having a look at what we are what is going on right now with Bitcoin, essentially we're looking at these channels, right? Now, we were stuck in this for a little bit, we fell, we popped back out of it, but now we just can't seem to break out of this channel between 3,500 and 3,600, give or take, right? Now, this morning, we actually fell down. I was watching it live and then instantly got pulled right back into the channel. So as you can see, we've touched this line multiple times back here, literally 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and now I guess you could say 9, 10, almost 11 times now we've tested this $3,500 mark, and we just keep going back above it every time we touch it. So does this mean that this is like the new bottom? It could be, guys. However, if we do finally fall below this level and stay there for quite some time, then we could be going a lot lower. I think short term, we need to break out of this $3,600 range. And then we have this support right here, just this little tiny support that was held around $3,770. I think if ultimately we can break through both of these, it'll be a lot sunnier on the other side. But if we don't, well, we could have some, more downward action, guys. Now, are we going to go all the way down to $1,260 like JP Morgan was predicting the other day? I don't know. You let me know, guys, because that would bring us all the way down here to this yellow line, which would essentially not only wipe all of this completely off the board, it would bring us back to, prices around April of last year, okay? So, of 2017, not of last year. I'm so confusing in crypto. I can't remember the year, right? So, that's what's going on, guys. But I really wanted to talk about Bitcoin in general. There's 5 reasons right here that they gave why adoption is stronger than ever despite price, and I'm just gonna rattle these off super quick because I want to remind us where we've been and where we're going. Bitcoin is now even more secure compared to 1 year ago. The computing power deployed on the Bitcoin network by users all over the world has more than doubled. Also, the number of daily active addresses is stable. In a big bear market, this kind of stability is an encouraging sign. Number 3, transaction volume has doubled, okay? Now, even though it's a little bit lower recently, like as in immediate recently, it's a lot more than we were seeing a few months ago. Also, the average transaction fee is down to about 25 cents. I know someone out there is going to argue that Nano is free, but it's still an accomplishment. And finally, Bitcoin's Lightning Network has grown exponentially, and those are all reasons for us to be very excited for Bitcoin moving forward. Not to mention, did you guys see this? This actually is a couple days old. I know I'm late on this, but Joe Rogan had Killer Mike on, and there was a section where they actually talked about Bitcoin, and he had this to say. He said the amount of money that banks control, if you stop and think about what goes on with the Federal Reserve and what goes on with all the money and how much a dollar is worth overseas and the balance of it all, if there was something that we could all rely on that wasn't controlled by a gigantic group of people who have a vested interest in profiting off of this pile of money, if it was sort of a Bitcoin thing, it would be a really different world. It would be really, really different. And then he goes on to talk about how he thinks it would be funny if they had like Bitcoin, like black dollars with gold Bitcoins on it that could represent Bitcoin. But you guys can check that out if you haven't seen it already. Here's the video. Definitely drop that below. I wanted to talk about a few things that are going on with different bills and stuff. Okay, it seems like there's been a lot of interest, especially in the US, around cryptocurrencies recently. So I just wanted to rattle these off, and then we're going to get into the big news of the day. So definitely stick around, or as you guys know, timestamps below. You can always jump to whatever part of the video you want to, but let's talk about paying taxes with crypto in Indiana. Well, House Bill number 1683, filed January 24th, asks the General Assembly of the state of Indiana to amend the current taxation code. Be it enacted, the bill may approve the usage of one or more virtual currencies to pay taxes, penalties, interest costs, special assessments, or any other liabilities which are imposed under the bill. So according to the document, a county treasurer shall determine the value of the payment in the United States dollars at the time the payment is being made by using the applicable exchange rate. If the bill is approved by the General Assembly of Indiana, it'll be in effect from July 1st, 2019. And that's not all, because remember, we were talking about these other states as well. Well, in the state of New Hampshire, House Bill number 470FN, filed January 5th, seeks the acceptance of cryptocurrencies as payment for taxes and fees by state agencies. If this bill is enacted by the Senate of House of Representatives and General Court, it will require the state treasurer, in consultation with other state officials, to develop an implementation plan for the state to begin with cryptocurrencies as payments for fees and taxes starting July 1st, 2020. The plan is also supposed to identify an appropriate third payment processor. As per documents, the payment processor should facilitate transactions at no cost to the state. Also, House of Representatives is expected to pass 3 bills that focus on cryptocurrency and its use for illegal activities. So scrolling down, it says all 3 bills being considered deal with crypto and illegal activities. One bill focuses on how crypto is supposedly aiding sex and drug trafficking. The bill's sponsor, Juan C. Vargas, believes crypto allows traffickers to keep their transactions hidden. Come on, enough with the trafficking stuff. We all know they're using dollars, but anyway, whatever. The second bill tasked the Department of Homeland Security to do a threat assessment on terrorists using cryptocurrencies for the nefarious activities. This information is to be shared with other law enforcement agencies. Now, just real quick, regardless of all this, the fact that they're taking these initiatives and they're taking it seriously, I think is just a good thing, okay? And then finally, they have the last bill it's considering creating an interagency task force under the auspices of the Secretary of U.S. Treasury. So the group would consist of both federal law enforcement personnel and private citizens with financial backgrounds. The goal would be to research financial crimes, including crypto and terrorism, and come up with laws and regulations to combat them. This is so fun, right? I'm sure you guys are just having a blast reading this. Well, listen, it's not all, Lambos and rockets to the moon. Sometimes we got to talk about this boring stuff too, right? We also have a breakthrough. Now, you may not care about this, but it's my time to shine because we don't get anything in New York, okay? So now, New Yorkers will be able to buy Bitcoin from traditional ATMs using their debit cards. With a newly granted license from the New York regulator LibertyX, it becomes the first such licensee offering debit card Bitcoin purchase options to New York State residents. So, the startup partnered with GenMega in 2018 to launch the first debit Bitcoin ATM in the US, extending Bitcoin purchases now to over 100,000 ATMs across the country. The downside: to use the debit card, users need a LibertyX account via the mobile app. Approved account holders can purchase up to $3,000 of Bitcoin per day. So, you still have to sign up and get an account. So, it's not as fun as just going to a random ATM and getting some Bitcoin, but it's a step in the right direction, guys. Now, before we move on to the story of the day, and before we get into the Tron, BitTorrent airdrop and token sale and all that, I just wanted to talk about this article that came out, and it's called "Why I Believe Crypto is a $278 Trillion Opportunity." Now, this is with Anya Nova. She is a crypto economist with Power Ledger. You guys may be familiar with them. And she explained how growing up in 1990s Russia shaped her belief that cryptocurrencies could one day become a multi-trillion-dollar asset class. Now, She says that she experienced insane hyperinflation during her childhood and realized that money is a resource that government controls and occasionally mismanages. So, the Russian government printed too much of it and devalued it right before my eyes, she says. I can remember my mom sent me to buy a loaf of bread from a local store. The day before, one loaf was the equivalent of 60 cents. The next day, it was $3.40. That is clearly not acceptable, right? So, fast forward to 2019, and Miss Nova can't understand why people aren't taking Bitcoin more seriously. She says, I hear Bitcoin, she says people says that it'll never replace fiat because it's not real. But fiat money is somehow real? So she says, this rings false to me. If you've ever held a large bundle of worthless cash in your hand, you'll know the feeling. Just think about that kid in Venezuela literally using piles of money as a ladder to climb into the back of the truck, okay? You guys remember that video? So also, Miss Nova says she has watched the evolution closely from Bitcoin to ICOs to STOs. She says the real reason that she thinks we're seeing the insurgence of security tokens is because the regulators, such as the SEC, are cracking down on projects that have not complied with the existing fundraising regulations. She says, to be clear, a token sale that complies with the fundraising regulations is not a better investment compared to ones that don't. A good investment is one where the right team is solving the right problem at the right time, regardless of whether the investment itself complies with capital raising regulations or not. So, for people that like to throw around the term shitcoin, just because it's a STO doesn't mean it can't be a shitcoin STO, okay? Just gonna throw that out there. But anyway, she says that security tokens will not democratize finance and lift millions out of poverty right away, but they will transform how we live. There's just so much to tokenize. So $217 trillion in real estate, $55 trillion in equities, $6 trillion in gold. I thought it was higher than that, but anyway, that's where we get the $278 trillion opportunity, right? That's the number that we came up with. But here's the thing. As people begin to tokenize land and buildings and things of that nature, which they're going to, and they are, okay, whether or not you want them to, they're going to do it. It's going to allow them to learn to transact with these different tokens, whether it be on the Tron, blockchain or the Ethereum blockchain or whatever. The fact is that they're going to become comfortable using these tokens. And as they become more comfortable, well, the existing tokens like Bitcoin and all these other guys, right, are probably going to reap the benefits as well. So she also goes on to say that, if security tokens had existed back when she was a kid, privatization would have been the best use case to demonstrate the attributes of transparency and immutability that we love in blockchain. So, anyone with access to the blockchain explorer, such as Etherscan, would have been able to verify that a particular factory or mine site or farm was fractionalized into a fixed number of fractions, that each fraction was accounted for, and most importantly, that the fractions were fairly distributed among all citizens as was intended. Back with the hyperinflation, billions of dollars were stolen via botched privatization of public assets like factories, mines, and farms. So instead, because the process was murky, it was abused, and the ownership of the country's assets ended up in the hands of the few, giving rise to the emergence of the oligarchs and some of the world's worst financial inequality that we had seen ever. So just wanted to point that out, guys, and this is why she believes that the cryptocurrency, totally could be a $278 trillion opportunity, because as we begin to tokenize all these real-world assets, the space will inevitably, or could potentially, become, the go-to standard of tokenization. So I just wanted to drop that. I thought that was really good news, guys. Now let's talk about Binance. So Binance just tweeted Binance DEX in development. As you can see right here, it's showing the the coin on the ledger, or no, they're actually showing the integration into it. And then CZ says Binance DEX will support hardware wallets from day one of launch, so that you could be sure your private keys never leave your device. Guys, you know how I feel about this, okay? Own your private keys, get a hardware wallet, be safe, guys? All right. Now, moving on, let's talk about the BitTorrent sale that is happening in 23 hours, 13 minutes, and 8 seconds, 7 seconds, 6 seconds. I'm just kidding. Okay, it's happening in about a day, guys. So this is what's happening. You guys can come over here and read all about this on Binance Launchpad. It says their hard cap is $7.2 million. which I think they're going to hit that. Personally, I think this is going to sell out fast, guys, honestly. So you can see here the initial circulating supply will be 9%. 1 BTT will be pegged to 0.00012 cents. So yeah, very low. Here's the token allocation and the schedule to be released over time. You can see there is inflation. Okay, there will be, tokens released over time, but that I think is what is somewhat so appealing to most people. Now, as you guys know, United States, we're not allowed to get involved, so good luck with that, because if you're using Binance, yes, you're going to have to do KYC. No, you're not going to be able to get around it. So sorry, USA, what are you going to do? But let's talk about it. So let's talk about the airdrop, because that's something that we actually can get, right? So the first airdrop is scheduled for February 11th, when the BitTorrent Foundation will reward Tron holders with the BTT once Tron's block height reaches 6.6 million. So just to keep this into perspective, February 11th, should everything go according to plan, but it's really based on block height. So if we come over here and we look at tronscan.org, you can see right here, we are currently at block height 616.8777. Okay, so we're waiting for block 6.6, but guys, February 11th is good enough. So following this initial airdrop on March 11th, 2019 through February 11th of 2020, Tron holders will be rewarded with an additional 11.8 billion BTT, roughly about 1.2% of the total supply. And then on March 2020 through February 11th, 2021, the foundation will airdrop 12.8 billion to 1.3 which will be 1.3% of the total circulating supply. The airdrop process will continually repeat itself until February 2025, with an increase of 0.1% per year until it reaches 1.7% in 2025. In addition to the 6-year BTT airdrop plan, the BitTorrent Foundation will also airdrop an additional 99.9 billion tokens, both online and offline, that are planned in upcoming announcements. This airdrop BTT supply will account for 10.1% of the total circulating supply. So this is why you're seeing Tron doing very well today, Binance as well, because you can participate in the token sale with Binance should you choose. Now, I also wanted to just show you guys the monthly airdrop plans, and you can see that for the first year, it's 990 million. Second year, 1 billion. Third year, 1.5. Yeah, you guys can come over here and have a look at this as well. And the big question that people were asking me yesterday and the day before in the comments was, is Binance going to be supporting this? Well, it says Binance would like to confirm support for the BitTorrent airdrop program. For the first airdrop corresponding to 1.1% of the token supply, we will take a snapshot of all TRX balances on Binance at block height, okay, 6,600,000 on the Tron blockchain, and distribute the tokens. Binance will also support the monthly airdrop program of BTT. We will take a snapshot of Tron at 0 UTC on the 11th day of each month and distribute BTT tokens based on the following calculation, which you guys can come and look at that if you want. So basically, yes, you can hold your Tron on Binance, and yes, you will be eligible for the airdrop. No, I do not suggest you leaving your tokens on an exchange, but if you want to leave them on Binance, leave them on Binance. Or maybe just move them to Binance like every, 10th of the month and leave them there for a day. Get your Tron and then maybe move them off. But you do what you want. It's your life. It's your money. Anyway, moving on, guys. Let's talk about what happened. So we know that, the CEO over at Messari, he was getting some threats, Ryan Selkis, over his thing, talking about the XRP market cap being overvalued by 6.1 billion. He said somebody called me from Nashville and recited my wife's birthday to me and then hung up. And he ended up getting really pissed. He said, I want Ripple, Brad Garlinghouse, and all these other people to denounce any XRP community threats against my family. I'm going to the FBI and local police after 3 calls, ensuring our family doesn't get swatted. He says after going to the police to report the calls, Selkis posted another tweet apparently confirming that the callers were not actually affiliated with Ripple. That he says, I'm at the police station. It's a punk kid, most likely. Did you really think that Ripple themselves was going to call you up and have like death threats or call about your wife's birthday. Come on, man. I mean, we're like, obviously that's not the case. So anyway, moving on, talking about what's actually been going on, you do have a new report from the Malaysian Singapore-based business outlet Edge Markets that praises Ripple and says it's set to revolutionize the world of cross-border payments. According to the report, Ripple's XRP-based software solution XRapid is set to challenge the global banking network SWIFT by targeting emerging markets. They say from the perspective of big financial institutions, better liquidity is a key advantage. Payments, especially to parties in emerging markets, often require pre-funded local currency accounts around the world, resulting in high liquidity costs. With XRapid, payment providers and financial institutions are able to dramatically lower the capital requirements for liquidity as it uses the XRP token, okay? The report highlights research from McKinsey & Company, which found that fintech companies are having a transformative impact on the cross-border payment status quo. McKinsey believes constant development in an open banking and e-commerce ecosystem will fuel significant disruption in the coming years. Thus, financial institutions have no choice but to jump on the fintech bandwagon. Okay, we got a few more. Actually, we got 2 more stories and then we're out of here, guys, because it's Sunday. I know you guys got places to be, so it wouldn't be a day in crypto without a crypto scam. Yes, police in New Taipei, Taiwan have arrested 15 suspects for allegedly running a cryptocurrency scam that earned them millions of dollars. The arrest suspects have been reportedly charged with fraud, and the case has been handed over to the Taipei District Prosecutor's Office. The group allegedly defrauded over 30 people in the country of nearly 8.16 million. So the suspects reportedly promoted IBcoin, an Ethereum ERC20 token, aiming to be a means of payment for the adult entertainment industry. According to its promotional material, the alleged fraudsters reportedly are publicized they publicized the scheme on Facebook, posting pictures of expensive cars and luxurious lifestyles to lure in new victims. Of course, because all you do is stand next to, you know, some Lambos, and I'm gonna instantly invest in your coin. On a side note, I did see a story. I didn't feel like bringing it up today, but I saw that like a bunch of adult sites are gonna like start accepting crypto now. There was like a whole list of them, so be careful, you know, with all these different scams and stuff like that. But you never know. Also, speaking of a scam, guys, there was a link to the phishing. There was a phishing link to LocalBitcoins that actually had a cloned website, but they've currently taken care of it. The attacks have stopped, but according to the Post, an unidentified hacker or hacker group detected a security vulnerability in the LocalBitcoins forum and linked it to a phishing forum. Even before the official communication, a Reddit user warned in a post on Bitcoin subreddit saying, when visiting the LocalBitcoins forum, users are prompted to log into their accounts as if they have been logged out. This only seems to happen if you're already logged in. This is a phishing site, and 2FA codes are being used to empty customers' accounts. Withdrawals have since been suspended by LocalBitcoins. The alleged address of the hacker or hackers identified in the comments by users who claim to have been hacked has received a total of 7.952 Bitcoin in 5 different transactions, which is equivalent to about $28,000. Also, they said that they want exchanges to blacklist this wallet because this is where the money was sent. And then it says, in the Reddit post published by the community manager, LocalBitcoins claims that the identified vulnerability was contained in third-party software and confirms 6 known cases of users being affected. The company also reportedly stopped the attack and re-enabled outgoing transactions, which were temporarily disabled. Still, the post notes that the forum feature is still disabled until further notice. So guys, please be careful. Always be sure of what links you're clicking. When you hover your mouse over it, look below, see what it says. If you don't recognize it, just don't click the link, okay? Simplest thing to do. All right, that being said, that's it for the news for today, guys. And I saw this picture floating around. I thought it was pretty cool. Objects in mirror are closer than they appear. Next bull run? Possibly, maybe, could be. Let's see what our good old buddy Bitcoin's doing right now. Just kind of hanging out, staying in the channel. So we dipped this morning, we pulled back up. So, you know, we're doing our thing. We're doing our thing, guys. So that being said, it is Sunday. My goodness, it's been another long week in crypto. Kind of got dragged on this week. Wasn't really as exciting as some of the weeks we've seen before, but you know, I'll take it. It's nice for people accumulating. Could we go lower? Absolutely. But that being said, guys, I'm still optimistic about it. You know that. That's why I get up and I do this every single day. Obviously, also because of people like you subscribing and commenting and just joining the Telegram chat. You guys, really, you're the reason I do this. And I am about to go enjoy my Sunday. I do have some plans, but I had to get this video out to you guys first. That being said, I want to say thank you so much for coming back to the channel. Everyone that has been, yeah, you know the drill, guys. My name is K-Dub. Oh, one more thing before I go. I almost forgot to say, guys, I want to say thank you so much for everyone that's been using the Ledger Nano affiliate links. You know, you definitely got to keep your crypto safe, guys. So if you don't have one yet or you haven't pre-ordered it and you're thinking about doing it, you know, using the link below definitely helps the channel. Doesn't cost you a thing. And now, with that being said, I do appreciate you guys. My name's K-Dub. This is Crypto Zombie. Until next time, stay crypto and peace out.